it was a slightly muted quarter from Greenlam on the other side due to a weak demand in veneer and allied products. But will the government's focus on infrastructure, low-cost housing, and the move from unorganized to organized turn the tide for plywood and laminate industries? Let's ask Saurabh Mittal, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer at Greenlam Industries, who joins us on the show. Saurabh, good having you. Thanks so much for joining in. Was this quarter on anticipated lines? You've managed costs well and therefore margins haven't really moved too much. But a single-digit growth for a leading company in an industry which everybody believes is at the cusp of some bigger moves. Are you personally satisfied with what you've done the quarter?
Well, if you look at the quarter, the exports business grew at about 17% from a top line perspective. The domestic business was a bit subdued. The veneer and allied category grew at about 18%. The challenge was more on the laminates domestic business, where really we had demand pressures and pricing pressures. And so really, if you ask me whether I was satisfied, surely I was not. I wish we had done better in the domestic laminate business also. But like you rightly said, despite the cost pressures of chemicals, crude prices going up, all our ingredients costs going up, we managed the EBITDA margins, the bottom line margins, the cash flows fairly well. But so I guess we should be doing better as we move ahead. Yeah.
So I'll talk about the demand scenario, but since you brought up the margins, let me just first get that out of the way. If you've done well in a quarter wherein there were pressures due to crude prices and otherwise, would you reckon that this could well be the base or the new normal for the quarters ahead, and the margins could only look up here on?
Well, if you look at the laminates business, the margins actually went up despite the price increases in phenol, methanol, melamine, which are the chemicals. So major cost in part of our in the laminates business. So yes, if the domestic business does better, which it should going ahead, margins should be we should be able to do better margins. That's right.
Now let's talk about the demand. I heard you mention that demand pressures were felt. Now, was it Greenlam facing it, or do you believe this is an industry-wide phenomenon? And if so, what is the factor? Because almost everybody was of the belief about 6 months ago or 9 months ago that GST plus this whole housing boom will only lead to companies such as yours having great times.
Right. So really, I can't comment so much about the other companies till the results are out. But I guess the market was a bit slow in this quarter. And like I also said, along with demand, we also had pricing pressure because we had increased our prices in the domestic market due to the raw material cost increases. While we do believe that many players did not increase prices, and many did postpone price increases to the month of July. So I think that should probably that also impacted the demand in some sort, and we had a lot of pricing discipline and cash flow discipline. So probably that had an impact on the top line of the domestic laminate business. So and from a GST perspective, truly, we should this should help us. Price gaps between us and local companies, organized sector, has reduced, and I think it's a function. It's a bit of time, which is probably challenging the situation because real estate demand is low, residential demand is low, and there are cost pressures also. So I think moving ahead, we hope with the EV bill and more tighter compliances, things should stabilize for companies like us, and we should probably have more share of the market vis-a-vis the unorganized sector. Yeah, but I think it's been a bit slow compared to what we all expected. So but I guess this should happen as we move ahead.
Very, very quickly, Saurabh, one last question. Your veneers and allied products, while you did 17%, the street was probably hoping for more. Or would you believe the number would be only higher in the quarters ahead?
Right. Well, we should do better because the flooring business also had higher top line, and we expect better business going ahead. So yes, we should do better, as the year progresses, across the entire business, whether it's domestic or exports. Yeah, that's right, actually.
Well, and we wish you All the best for that and more. Agreed, the times aren't the best, but maybe things will improve going ahead. Saurabh Mittal, thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking to us, and all the best for the quarters ahead.
Thank you so much.